Okay, we're back here in Sales Academy, and now we're going to talk about the cold walk-in process. What do you do when you actually cold walk in someplace? So there's two different scenarios here that we're going to talk about. The first scenario is you know who you need to meet with when you walk in, because that's going to be critical. Like I mentioned about list preparation, you can have a person's name, their accounts, so that when you walk in the cold walk-in, you have their name ready to go. Let's just assume for this first scenario, you do know who you're asking for. So I want you to just set the stage here. I want you to think about cold walk-ins like a physician's office, okay? So when's the last time you walked into a physician's office? Whether it's a dentist, is your cardiologist, whoever, think about that. As long as I've been, right? How long has it been for you? Right? Are you excited to go to a physician's office? I'm the type of person that walked into a doctor's office and I'm like, oh my God, I'm here again. I don't want to be here. I walk in, I walk up to the gatekeeper. I don't look like I'm cheery. I mean, I'm okay, but I just want to get it over with, right? Now I walk in and I typically say something like, hey, I'm here for my 10 o'clock. Do you say something like that too? This is if you have a doctor's appointment, okay? Like you're about to see your doctor for a medical checkup. Right? So you just want to get in there and just get out, right? Well, it's very much similar to a cold walk-in. When you walk in, right, you say more or less, I'm here for my 10 o'clock. Then what happens is the gatekeeper is going to be thinking, you're going to get in your head that it's a normal occurrence, right? It's normal. You're not going to walk into a doctor's office and say, hey, what's going on? I'm here. This is Michael. I'm here for my doctor's appointment. That's really cheesy, right? But what's more important about that is that it gives you away. It gives you away because people's clients, their customers, they don't really come in that way. They don't come in all cheery. They're not overly excited to be there. They're not enthusiastic. It's not realistic. That does not happen. But it does, right? It does happen. But they're quickly going to say, this person doesn't belong here. And what do you think the gatekeeper is going to ask that person? You don't have an appointment. What are you selling? Are you a solicitor? They say that off the bat. Well, we need to get into the mindset of the doctor's office. Remember that. So you know who to ask for. Let's say you're asking for Jim, let's say. So when you walk in, that first time walking into that place, you walk up to the gatekeeper and you say this. I'm here to see Jim. Could you let him know I'm here? So again, I'm here to see Jim. I'm here to see Tom. Will you let him know I'm here? Let's just break that down for a second. When you walk in and you're asking specifically for the person and you're saying, I'm here to see them, does that actually say you have an appointment? No, it doesn't. But it kind of puts the gatekeeper in their mind and make them think that you do. And you're actually giving them a command in a sense to let them know I'm here. Because that would imply that they know you're coming, that they're excited to meet you. So think about that. That script right there is what you should use when you know who you're looking for. Because that's going to give you that chance to get those 30% of the decision makers to come out. Just to come out. That separates you from the salesperson because you're going to ask you some normal questions. Their normal routine. The gatekeeper's normal routine is going to say, what's your name? And then you're going to say, it's Michael. They're going to ask what company you with. And you're going to say, I'm ABC Medical. Do you have an appointment? Right? And then what you can say is, it's regarding for an appointment. It's regarding for a meeting. It's regarding for a company. It's regarding for a patient. So if you have answers for that, right? And by the way, only give your first name. Never give your last name. You know, think about that. If you're giving your first name, then that's implying that the person you're trying to see knows you by your first name, right? The second question being what company you with? It's a formality because the gatekeeper needs to call them and say, hey, Michael's here from ABC Medical Group's here to see you, right? So those sort of things you gotta have ready really quick, right? So that pretty much it's like normal for you. I'm here to see Jim. Will you let him know that I'm here? Sit back. That's all you need to say. Right? And the first question is, what's your name? Michael. What company with? ABC Medical. Almost like you're surprised that they're having to ask you because, Tom or Derek or Jim, they know you. He's not going to be asking for that. Right? So you're trying to imply that to them. And the last piece is, did you have an appointment? Well, it's in regarding for this company, or it's regarding an appointment, or it's regarding a patient. It's regarding a referral. Whatever it is, as long as you have an answer there, it's going to help the gatekeeper stay in that mode, that you're a normal person, that you're not trying to be a salesperson, and that helps you get past the one level. Now, what's important for you to know when you're prospecting? Because you need to be able to ask the person's name. This is the perfect situation if you can do that. What would give you a better list? We talked about list creations, right, in a previous video. No matter what happens on this prospect and cold walk-in, you want to make sure that you're collecting information back, no matter what happens. That's going to help, the next prospecting back into that account. But if you know who you're asking for, it's all about the gatekeeper, right? That's the goal right there. Because the job of the gatekeeper is to, prevent you from getting to them, to those decision maker. That's the biggest problem. Now, a couple things about gatekeepers. Gatekeepers, they're all different types of people. You're gonna read tons and tons of books, blogs, videos. It's very simple. Their job is to keep people from getting to the decision maker so the decision maker can be more effective. You have to appreciate that. That's your job. Don't get mad at them. Don't be pissed at them if they won't let you through. They're doing their job. Some of them are really better than others. And when you meet with some of them that are really good, and are sharp, you need to stop and go and say, this is great. Because what I tell my salespeople, if they run into a gatekeeper that's really sharp and good at what they do, that tells me that they have a lot of practice with salespeople. And if they have a lot of practice with salespeople, that means that it's even a better opportunity to break into that, because more salespeople are trying to earn their business. And if more salespeople are trying to win their business, then you should absolutely be saying that this is a great account to get into. So get excited when the gatekeeper is really good. Now understand, you can still get past the gatekeeper by following in the routine, following in the process. Well, when you walk in, I'm here to see Tom, I'm here to see Jim. And that's where you need to stop. That's where you need to start, right? And sometimes they'll get in the phone. They're going to call, Tom, the decision maker, and they're going to say, hey Tom, it's Jan here in the front desk. Michael's here to see you, right? Because they're thinking you're there to see them, right? See him. And then here's Tom. Tom's going to say, Michael with ABC Medical. Was I supposed to be meeting with him? Did I have an appointment with him? And what's going to happen right there is Tom is going to say, did he have an appointment? And then the gatekeeper is going to say, well, I don't know. It's in regarding for this company, I think. I'm not too sure. And what happens is there's that confusion, and they're going to transfer you to him or have Tom come up, right? That right there is going to happen at least 3 out of 10 times, 30%. Now here's the thing, when Tom does come out, your heart's going to start pounding. You're going to start thinking he's coming out, right? If Tom is going to come out, So you have to have the mindset and be ready for that. You have to be ready all the time that they're going to come out. Because if you do a good job, they will come out, right? And you just have to breathe in, take that deep breath. Don't be nervous. You got past one area, right? Get confident about it. And you never know how long it's going to take, right? You don't know if they're going to take you to the back in his office. It could be like a 1 minute, standing meeting. It can be a 5-minute standing meeting. It can be a 15-minute sit down meeting. So you shouldn't dwell about this too much and think about how nervous you are. It's now where you need to start asking questions, right? This is your job. Because if Tom's coming out, if he says to the gatekeeper, I'm going to come out, right? Right there alone, it's confirmed that it's okay for you to meet with Tom. So you can start asking questions in the gatekeeper and start finding some discovery questions. Start having some communication, right? Because you need to warm yourself up to start asking questions when you meet up with Tom. So you might want to be able to like ask about 3 to 5 communication questions. So like I said, take a deep breath. If Tom did say he's coming out to see you, take a deep breath. And now your job is to be able to deliver your value proposition, also known as your elevator pitch. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Now, talking about creating your elevator pitch, you're creating your value, proposal, that's a whole different training course that we're going to be able to go into, right? But you have to make sure that when you do your value proposition, your elevator pitch, you don't want it to be choppy. And so you must be ready. And like I said, we do a full training just for that. So let's talk about the option 2. The option 2 that can happen, right? The first one, Tom was available, or you had his name. But let's talk about a scenario where Tom may be not available, right? And it really is silly for you to think about that, the decision makers have nothing to do, that they're available anytime you walk in. It really is not realistic. And so you can hear people, the gatekeeper says that they're in a meeting right now. Are they in a meeting really? They probably are, right? And so, don't let that get to you. Or they're in a call right now. So at this point, if you hear that, you immediately ask for the decision maker. That's what I really recommend you to do. If they say that person's in a meeting, or they say something like, they're not in today, they're not in on Tuesdays, you need to be able to have a quick answer. And what you're going to say is, well, who's the decision maker that's working right now? Who's the manager that's available right now? Right? Especially if you actually make sure that you write, when you're going after a place and you research, that you actually did some research and found out that if Tom is not there, who's the second person? Who's the third person? In a previous, video series we talked about, is that when you start doing your research in a facility, sometimes don't just rely on expecting there's only one direct contact. Like a good example, if I'm going into a hospital and I need to talk to the social worker, there is the social worker manager, but there's also the assistant manager, right? So you have to understand that sometimes there's always going to be a second or a third person that will be a good contact for you when you go into these facilities, when you go into the different establishments or businesses, okay? Now, moving on to the next scenario, let's say, for example, you walk in and you don't have the name of the person. You don't have their name. Like, you do not know who you need to speak to. Well, that is going to be a little bit more challenging. So sometimes there's a higher percentage that if you don't know the person's name, that you're not going to get through them, really. But this is where you would require your follow-up. The follow-up is one of the most important parts when you're prospecting, when you're in business, when you're in sales and marketing, is the follow-up, and you need to create a follow-up system. So when you walk in, you should at least know what the title of the person you're trying to talk to. Okay, so if I'm trying to speak to, for example, the purchasing manager, I'm going to walk in, you can say, hey, hi, my name is Michael. I'm here for the purchasing manager. But right there alone, because you don't know the name, the gatekeeper's radar is pretty much just going off and saying, okay, this person doesn't even know the name, so what's going on here? Salesperson, solicitor, that's what they're thinking right there and then. And then they're going to ask you, well, what's your name, what's your company? Well, it's Michael with ABC Medical. I'm just here to be able to meet with your purchasing manager. And and what happens is, the last thing you want to do is start giving too much information. If you give too much information, what you're doing there is you're showing your cards. And so I never start, some of the novice salespeople out there will say something like, hi, my name is Michael with ABC Medical. What we do is blah, 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 right away. No. Answer the questions. They ask you your name, Michael. Still don't give it the last name. They ask you what company you're with, ABC Medical. What's this meeting about? I just need to be able to talk to your I need to talk to the manager in regards to some purchasing orders, or I need to talk to the manager about some services that that they may be interested in, right? And one thing you guys have to understand is when you're doing sales, when you're doing marketing, right? What you need to really do is never ever lie, right? Because lying is the devil. You should never lie to them. Now, I'm here to speak to the purchasing manager. I'm here to talk about some orders, or I'm here to talk about some patient referrals. Okay? Those are the truth. Now, I still don't have patient referrals. I'm just here to talk to them because I'm hoping I get patient referrals, or I get them to use my product, my services, right? And so that's the thing, is we need to get to that decision maker. Countless times when a novice salesperson, a novice marketer gets stuck in a gatekeeper, what ends up happening is they just start selling their services and products to the gatekeeper. And that's where the biggest problem happens, because that gatekeeper don't really care about what you do. Their job is to answer the phones. Their job is to look at the scheduling. Their job is to prevent you from coming in. You're not going to do a crazy, amazing job selling this gatekeeper. Then when you finally leave, the gatekeeper is going to go to that person, the decision maker, and say, oh my God, you should have met this amazing salesperson. He's with ABC Medical, and what he does, and he starts, and you think they're going to sell everything for you? No, they're not. They're not going to do that. So don't sell to the wrong person, okay? That's the least thing you should do. But I've seen it countless times where, these salespeople, novice salespeople, just walk in and mess everything up. And here they are trying to sell to the person that really doesn't make any decision. This is where it is really important that when you guys do cold walk-ins, right, that you should have gathered all the information correctly. You should have been able to research before you're walking in, because when you research, it increases the chance of you actually being able to close more deals. Now, here's another amazing point to add. If you add cold calling to cold walk-ins, right? Because just because you cold call, you got an appointment set up, you got the person's name, you have all that. When you walk in there, it's still considered a cold walk-in. Just because you have an appointment, it's still not a sell deal. It's not a sold deal. It's not a guaranteed deal. But the appointment increases your chance, because when you walk in with the gatekeeper, you can say, hey, I have an appointment at 10. Hi, it's Michael. I'm here. I have a 10 o'clock appointment with Tom. Because it's sold. You have to meet them. So we're talking about now just handling the gatekeeper. And that's where it's such an important thing to kind of really figure out and look into when you're doing the sales. Okay, so main topic is give less information, give specific information, more direct, short answers. What's your name? Michael. No last names. Even if you don't know the person, the main person, the key person you want to be able to speak to. What company are you with? ABC Medical. Don't go, ABC Medical, we provide blah, blah, blah. No, ABC Medical. Now, here's the thing that you guys can do. You guys have to sit down really and pay attention and write these scripts down. And create your scripts and be ready. Be ready to be able to answer. Like for example, we talked about you have an appointment, or you have a name, or we talked about you don't know the person's name directly, but you just know his position, right? Sometimes, they get into the phone with the decision maker, and the decision maker says, tell them I'm busy. And so when that happens, when the decision maker says, tell them I'm busy, and the gatekeeper says, well, Tom's busy right now, Michael. Hey, most salespeople will then right there alone have a problem and stop and says, well, can I leave my information with you? Can you give it to them? No. When somebody says they're busy right now, hey, perfect, I totally understand that they're busy at this very moment. When would be a good time to return? Or can you ask them really quick, can I set up an appointment? And what you're going to do there is they're going to ask that question to him. And he's going to say, there could be two answers. Number one, yes, and give you the time that he's available. Number two, he can be like, just have him reach out to me. If they then go back to you and say, well, Michael, he's busy right now, he doesn't know what time he's available, but he says call him back to reach out to me. And then what do you say next? When novice marketers, when they get this far still, what they're going to say is, okay, I'm going to call him back, right? And what happens is they leave. But here's what I need you to do. If they say that, number one, I'm like, does he have a direct number I can call? And I was wondering, does he have an email so I can send him, some information and then maybe set up an appointment that way? Because I need to keep on going past these objections. Because number one, I'm going to take it in full face value that he is busy. Right? I'm not going to be like, oh no, he's just lying to me, and then have that negative mindset. Remember, like we talked about mindset here. So I'm going to think, okay, fine, he's busy. Okay, when is he not busy? I need to ask questions, not just quit right there. Okay? That's right there. That's the most important thing. Now, if you get an objection, for example, somebody says, well, we're already working with a company like yours. We already have a service provider. How do you handle those? Because these are objections, right? I'm going to respect and take it in full face value, but at the very same time I'm here. That's why we dedicated a full course on teaching you guys how to handle all the different objections that you're going to face. How to handle closing techniques so you can close more deals. Those are two separate major courses that we offer because it is part of this whole thing. And so if you can manage yourself doing that, then you're going to have more success. Because it's about handling the gatekeepers. That's the most important thing. Because that's the first step before you're able to have the meetings that you need to present what you need. And we talked about value propositions. We talked about elevator pitches. That's pretty much your initial part of your presentation to try to catch them. Just think about, those clickbaits when you go to the internet, when you search through, websites, there's these really, really catchy titles. That's pretty much what an elevator pitch is and a value proposition is. It's that gotcha terminology that's going to be able to get them to be like saying, okay, I may be open for this. So that's what you guys need to work on. Now, on the next video, we're going to be talking about some do's and don'ts. What are the do's? What are the don'ts that you should be doing when you do a cold walk-in? Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to the next video. Let's go. Hey everyone, we want to be able to invite you to our 10xpatientreferrals.com, where we have our online home health marketing academy that's going to be able to help either a home health, home care, or hospice agency increase referrals, increase their census, and create a profitable company. Now, at this very moment, you're going to have access to these information through these training, marketing to physicians, how to get to hospitals, how to be able to get into nursing homes, and much, much more at a month-to-month basis with no contracts needed. It's just month to month. Now, guess what? We are offering you guys for a limited time 50% off any one of our plans. Just choose which one is going to be able to work better for you. So just stop by the 10xpatientreferrals.com at any given moment. So these are the plans that are available, whether it's the gold, the silver, or the platinum plan. Most people go for the gold plan, but it's up to you what's going to work for you. We definitely want to be able to have you come in and work with us. So here's two choices. Go to 10xpatientreferrals.com or click the link down below. Take advantage of this right now at this very moment and sign up with us. We would like to thank our sponsors of this video, and over here at 10xpatientreferrals.com, our goal is to provide you guys amazing information on every single one of our videos. So medicationreminderprogram.com provides daily medication reminders for your patients. They call your patients twice a day to remind them to take their medications. What happens is a top reason of hospitalization for senior citizens is not taking their medications. So this program allows you to be able to keep your patients and not lose any revenue, but at the very same time, it allows you to stand out when you are marketing to other referral sources because you're providing more services, more programs than the competition around you guys. The next thing we want to be able to share with you guys is they have 3 different packages available for you at this very moment. Choose which one works for you. If you're an agency that's just starting up and you have less than 10 patients, you can go with the silver plan.
Or if you have 50 patients, you can go with the gold plan, or if you have up to 100 patients, it is only the choice to use the platinum plan. But guess what? It's up to you which one works for you guys. For a cost of as little as 33 cents per patient a day, it is worth everything for you guys. The next thing is homecareansweringservice.com. It's an answering services for your agency. So if you want to be able to have us handle all the calls for you in the weekends or the off hours when your business office is closed, we can definitely do that. Or we can even answer your calls for you during the day as well. Allows you to be able to do everything for your company. So homecareansweringservice.com is your solution for answering your calls on a timely manner. Now, before we continue on to the video, just need to be able to take a few seconds of your time. And so we want to be able to ask you a question. Are you looking to gain more referrals for your agency, your home health, your home care, your hospice agency? We want you to be able to join us at our online marketing bootcamp that has over 7.5 hours of training. When you actually watch our bootcamp and join our online marketing bootcamp training, so sign up for a limited time at 10xpatientreferrals.com